Well, let's say this is a first. G'day from the West, Lucas here, and welcome back to Footy West. And today, despite all the Eagles apparel, we are talking about the Dockers. And recently, there's been a very interesting recent development regarding Fremantle coach Justin Longmuir. Now, he was obviously out of contract at the end of 2025, but a new agreement, a new deal has been signed by himself and by the club. And let's just say that this is probably one of the first times we've ever seen this in the AFL. I haven't double checked this, but as far as I'm aware, this is the first time we have seen an open-ended sort of coaching agreement within the AFL, at least in modern times. Now, like I mentioned, Justin Longmuir was out of contract at the end of this year. There was a bit of speculation about his contract status and whether he would be re-signed next year and what he needed to do in order to accomplish that. But this latest development sort of throws things a bit into uncharted waters for a football club, especially for the Freo Dockers. I know they've never done this before. And to be honest, I don't mind it. It's obviously got its pros and cons. I mean, the pros is that the coach sort of isn't under pressure to deliver by a certain date, but at the same time, that can also be a con, and maybe the coach isn't under enough pressure. But with this open-ended agreement, with the details of it, so the deal does not have an end date as such. It doesn't have an expiry date, like a day, a time, a year set in stone. And after the conclusion of his current contract, that one expires on the 31st of October this year. The new one will come straight into effect. So from the 1st of November this year, his new contract will come into effect. And it's got no end date, but there is a but there. And there's a termination clause in there. And I suspect it's probably to do with meeting certain standards in his position. And I'm guessing it's probably talking a lot about finals and where they finish. And in order to keep going in the job, he needs to meet certain criteria. I would say probably at least about a semi-final, a preliminary final next year when the agreement starts. And then surely you'd give him about 2-3 years to breach a premiership. And after that, if it's not happening, maybe that's when you bring the termination clause into effect. So I don't really mind what they've actually done with this. I think it's quite innovative, quite unique to the league. And it sort of makes Justin Longmuir, he can focus on his job without the outside noise of a contract and a contract extension looming. And in the termination clause, like I touched on, it'll have key performance indicators, I think is the best way to put it. And say it may read, if grand final not reached within 3 years termination. I don't know how these things look, but I'm guessing, I'm making an educated guess that that's probably what this termination clause will look like to decipher whether or not he keeps going. And because there's no limit to it, if he's performing really well and Freo go back to back, say in 2027, 2028, this agreement may be going on for like 10 years. Maybe not 10, okay? Let's say maybe 5. But it doesn't put Justin Longmuir under that expiration pressure. And I would expect that there's probably sort of a sub clause in there or whatever about if Justin Longmuir decided he was finished with the job and he wanted to resign or whatever. So I imagine that's in there as well. So there's it's sort of a normal contract. I mean, you can still get terminated. Your contract can still get terminated. You can probably still resign if you felt like you weren't up to the job anymore or you needed a break or whatever. But it's just the fact that there's no actual end date. And I like this approach by the Dockers. It's very unique. They're trying new things to get that elusive first flag. I think that this will contribute to that. And I think Justin Longmuir will perform well in the next couple seasons. At least if you're a Freo fan, you would hope, because there's been 5 years he's made finals once. But I expect that with this list and with him at the helm now under this new contract, I expect they will be up there for a few years, and they should be. If they are not up there within the next couple years and performing to the top 4, top 8 sides in the league, you would expect that's Justin Longmuir done, and the Dockers have got to have a good hard look at themselves. So overall, I do think it's a good idea. It's probably not everybody's cup of tea. So in terms from an outsider looking in, as a neutral fan of the Dockers, I mean, they're not my team, but I don't hate them. So I look at them and I go, that's probably a good decision for them, and this is a good thing that's happening to them. So that's all I've really got for you today. Yeah, I think it's a good thing that's going on here at the Dockers, and I think they're primed for a big push at the title this year. And if not this year, definitely they should be up there next year. But if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you give us a like, check out the rest of the content on the channel, give us a subscribe, turn on the post notification bell. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope to see you again back soon on Footy West.